And then Sutta Goswami is also speaking. Sutta Goswami, Sutta Uvacha also we had started. He's telling what is happening. So Lord Krishna has accepted the sons of Pritha as his sons. The glorification of Lord Krishna is going on. That how Duryodhana could not understand the glories of Krishna. स एष दोषः पुरुषद् विडास्ते गृहान् प्रविष्टो यमवत्यमत्यः उष्णासि कृष्णोद्विमुखागतश्रीस् त्यजाश्वशैवं कुलकौशलाय. So Saha means he, Esha this, Doshaha, offense personified, Purushadvit, envious of Lord Krishna, Aste exists, Grahan, household, Pravishtaha, entered, Yam, fools, Apatyamatyaha, thinking to be your son, Pushnani, Pushnasi, maintaining, Krishna, from Krishna, Vimukha, in opposition, Gatashrihi, devoid of everything, auspicious, Teja, give up, Ashu, as soon as possible, Ashaivam, inauspicious, Kula, family, Kaushalya, for the sake of. So you are maintaining offense personified. That is Duryodhana. Offense personified. What a statement. As an infallible son, but he is envious of Lord Krishna. So how a person is categorized? He is categorized as offense personified. Why? Because he is envious of Krishna. The moment one becomes envious of Krishna, does not serve Krishna, does not accept Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, naturally he is doing offenses. Simple. He will commit offenses against everyone. There is no doubt about it. So he is offense personified, he is envious of Krishna, and because you are thus maintaining a non-devotee of Krishna, you are devoid of all auspicious quality. So this is the most important statement. You are maintaining a non-devotee of Krishna. It means if a child is not devotee, and a person is maintaining that child, simple. What it is, Vidura's statement, all these things are. Because Vidura said, it is here. When Vidura was invited by Dhritarashtra, he said, he was advising. And now is again advising, see, you are devoid of all auspicious qualities. That means all your auspicious qualities has gone, all your pious deeds have gone. Only now sins are remaining, just because you are maintaining non-devotee of Krishna. Relieve yourself of this ill fortune as soon as possible and do good to the whole family. So relieve yourself of this ill fortune. That means come out of all these things. Come out of your affection towards such non-devotee son and give auspiciousness to the whole family. A good son is called apatya. One who does not follow his father, allow his father to fall down. A good son is called apatya. Prabhupada writes. So it is a duty of the children, the son, the daughter, to be a devotee and make parents also advance devotional service. Here, moral instructions of Chanakya has been given. What is the use of a son who is neither a learned man nor a devotee of the Lord? If the son is not a devotee of the Lord, he is just like a blind eye, source of trouble. So whoever's children are devotees, they are fortunate. The parents are fortunate. So one should understand. If the children are taking up devotional service, it's a duty of the parents to make the children chant the holy name. If you don't do that, then actually even the parents become the enemies of the child. You have got the fortune, you should give the fortune to others. You'll say, our son is not hearing, our daughter is not hearing. Somehow you should make them hear. You should make them hear, make them chant the holy name of Lord. And not be satisfied, oh, he's doing it. No, you should make him do more. Satisfaction in one's own children will not allow them to progress. Always understand, never be satisfied. Never try to appreciate, oh, my son is very good, my child is very good, my daughter is very good. Let them advance more, never appreciate before them. Never appreciate before them. Within the mind, yes, you should have love for children. It should not be expressed too much. So this is very much important. Never express too much so that they don't take up devotional service. Because everybody likes appreciation. If you appreciate too much, they will never advance. Okay. Okay. Vrindanida Mataji read.
हरे कृष्ण माताजी। स एष दोषः पुरुषः दृढ आस्ते गृहाण प्रविष्टोऽयम् अपत्यमत्य पुष्णासि कृष्णाद्विमुखो गतश्रीस् त्याजस्व अश्वयं कुलकौशलाय. You are maintaining offense personified, Duryodhan, as your infallible son, but he is envious of Lord Krishna, and because you are thus maintaining a non devotee of Krishna, you are devoid of all auspicious qualities. Relieve yourself of this ill fortune as soon as possible and do good to the whole family. Purport: a good son is called apatya, one who does not allow his father to fall down. The son can protect the father's soul when the father is dead by offering sacrifices to please the Supreme Lord Vishnu. This system is still prevalent in India. After the death of his father, a son goes to offer sacrifices at the lotus feet of Vishnu at Gaya and thus delivers the father's soul if the father is fallen. But if the son is already an enemy of Vishnu, how in such an inimical mood can he offer sacrifice unto Lord Vishnu's lotus feet? Lord Krishna is directly the personality of Godhead, Vishnu, and Duryodhan was inimical to him. He would therefore be unable to protect his father Dhritarashtra after his death. He himself was to fall down because of his faithlessness towards Vishnu. How then could he protect his father? Vidur advised Dhritarashtra to get rid of such an unworthy son as Duryodhan as soon as possible if he was at all anxious to see to the good of his family. According to the moral instructions of Chanakya Pandit, what is the use of a son who is neither a learned man nor a devotee of the Lord? If a son is not a devotee of the Supreme Lord, he is just like blind eyes, a source of trouble. A physician may sometimes advise the extrication of such useless eyes from the sockets so that one can be relieved of the constant trouble. Duryodhan was exactly like blind, troubling eyes. He would be a source of great trouble to the family of Dhritarashtra, as foreseen by Vidur. Vidur therefore rightly advised his eldest brother to get rid of this source of trouble. Dhritarashtra was wrongly maintaining such personified offense under the mistaken impression that Duryodhan was a good son, able to liberate his father. Hare Krishna Mataji.
Okay. Next. So this is the advice which Vidura is giving. Vidura is giving to Dhritarashtra. इत्यूचिमांस्तत्र सुयोधनेन प्रवृद्धकोपस्फुरिति स्फुरिताधरेण असत्कृतः सत्स्पृहणीयशीलः ता सकर्णानुजसौ बलेन इति दस् uchivan while speaking tatra there suyodhanena by Duryodhana prasruddha swollen with kopa anger sfurita flapping adharena lips asatprutah insulted sat respectable spruhaniya sheela desirable qualities shata vidura sa with karna anuja younger brothers Saubalena with Shakuni. While speaking thus, Vidura, whose personal character was esteemed by respectable persons, was insulted by Duryodhana, who was swollen with anger and whose lips were trembling. Duryodhana was in company with Karna, his younger brothers, and his maternal uncle Shakuni. Again, Chanakya Pandit's one statement is there. If you give counseling to foolish people, it's like making that fool become more angry. It's like feeding milk to a snake only increases its venomous poison. So those whose ears are closed, you cannot give advice. Even Krishna gave advice only when asked. If they are not asking your advice, better not to give. So foolish people, they don't take up the advice in a positive way. They have the tendency to insult. So Duryodhana also did the same thing. He was advised, his father is advised. Duryodhana should have taken it up. Yes, yes, because of me, my father is suffering. No, the pride is not allowing him to accept his mistakes, especially so offensive in nature. And the pride of becoming a king or having some position, having the kingdom, it is not allowing him to take the instructions in a positive way. Yaruna read.
Hare Krishna, text 14. इत्युचिवास्तत्र सुयोधनेन प्रवृत्तकोपस्फुरितादरेण असत्कृतः सत्स्पृहणीयशील शत्तासकर्णानुजसौबलेन. Translation: while speaking thus, Vidura, whose personal character was esteemed by respectable persons, was insulted by Duryodhana, who was swollen with anger and whose lips were trembling. Duryodhana was in the company with Karna, his younger brothers, and his maternal uncle Shakuni. Purport by Srila Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. It is said that giving good counsel to a foolish person causes the fool to become angry, just as feeding milk to a snake only increases its venomous poison. Saint Vidura was so honorable that his character was looked up to by all respectable persons. But Duryodhana was so foolish that he dared to insult Vidura. This was due to his bad association with Shakuni, his maternal uncle, as well as his friend Karna, who always encouraged Duryodhana in his nefarious acts. Hare Krishna.
Hmm. So Karna is to give him wrong advice. His Shakuni, his uncle, he also was a very bad person. So such people get such type of paraphernalia also, such surroundings, or bad association. Jasa sang, vasa rang, we say. क एनम् अत्रोपजुहावजीयं दास्यासुतं यद् दास्यासुतं यद् बलिनैव पुष्टः तस्मिन् प्रदीपः परकृत्य आस्ते निर्वास्यतामाशु पुराश्वसानः. Kaha, who enam this atra here? Upajuhava, who called him here? Now just see. Jhiman, Jhimam means crooked, is a crooked person. Dasya, of a kept mistress. He's insulting his mother also. Such people go to any extent of insulting mother also. He is a son of kept mistress. Dasi putra. Sutam, son. Yat whose balina, by whose subsistence, eva certainly, pushtaha grown up, tasmin unto him, pratipaha enmity, prakrutyaha enemy's interest. Aste situated, nirvasyatam, get him out, Ashu immediately. Purat from the palace, Shoshana, let him breathe only. That means don't kill him. Let him breathe, but toss him out. And also, he is the person who is friend of the enemy, Pratipaha. He is only working for enemy's interests, Prakrutya. So in this way, he spies in the interest of the enemy against those on whose support he has grown up. He is so crooked. He is a son of a mistress, kept mistress. Just remove him out. Just leave him with only his breath. We can understand how now Vidura is such a learned person. Vidura is elderly, fatherly person, but the behavior. So we can understand how Duryodhana is. That is why if a son or a daughter is not a devotee, they get all these bad qualities. That is why Srila Prabhupada says, best is take up devotional service. Even if you have bad qualities, Chetodarpana Nimajana. Chanting the holy name will remove the bad qualities in everyone. Everyone has some or the other bad qualities in some relative degree. But then, the moment we take up chanting the holy name, slowly, there is marjanam. That is what is the anugraha of Krishna. When the bad qualities slowly go out. But here he is not accepting Lord only. Then where the bad qualities will go? Okay. Who will read? Bindu read?
Hare Krishna Mataji. Text 15. Ka enamatro paju pajuhavajihmam dasya sutam yad balinaiva pushtah tasmin pratipah parakratyad aste nirvasyatam ashu purach shwasanah. Translation. Who asked him to come here? The son of a kept mistress. He is so crooked that he spies in the interest of the enemy against those on whose support he has grown up. Toss him out of the palace immediately and leave him with only his breath. Purport. When getting married, the Kshatriya kings would take on several other youthful girls along with the married princesses. These girls, attendants of the king, were known as dasis or attendant mistresses. By intimate association with the king, the dasis would get sons. Such sons were called dasi putras. They had no claim to a royal position, but they would get maintenance and other facilities just like prince. Vidura was the son of such a dasi, and he was thus not counted amongst the Kshatriyas. King Dhritarashtra was very affectionate toward his younger Dasiputra brother Vidura, and Vidura was a great friend and philosophical advisor to Dhritarashtra. Duryodhana knew very well that Vidura was a great soul and a well wisher, but unfortunately he used strong words to hurt his innocent uncle. Duryodhana had only attacked Vidura's birth, not only attacked Vidura's birth, but also called him an infidel because he seemed to support the cause of Yudhishthira, whom Duryodhana considered his enemy. He desired that Vidura be immediately put out of the palace and deprived of all his possessions. If possible, he would have liked him caned until he was left with nothing but his breath. He charged that Vidura was a spy of the Pandavas because he advised King Yudhishthira in their favor. Such is the situation of the palace life and the intricacies of diplomacy that even a faultless person like Vidura could be charged with something abominable and punished. Vidura was struck with wonder at such unexpected behavior from his nephew Duryodhana, and therefore, anything actually happened, he decided to leave the palace for good. Hare Krishna.
That is why he left. Okay. Swayam dhanurdvari nidhaya mayam भ्रातृ पुरो मर्मसु ताडितोऽपि स इत्थम् अत्युल्बन कर्णबाणै गत गतव्यथो यादुरु मान्यमानः मानयानः स्वयं he himself dhanurtvari bow on the door nidhaya keeping mayam the external nature Bhratu brothers, Puraha from the palace, Marmasu in the core of the heart, Tadikaha being afflicted, Api in spite of, Saha Vidura, Itham like this, Ati Ati Ulbana, severely, Karna ear, Banahi by the arrows, Gatavitaha, without being sorry, Ayata excited, Uru great, Mana Ayana, so thinking. Thus being pierced by the arrows through his ears. Karna, the words are like the arrows, and afflicted to the core of the heart. Vidura placed his bow on the door and quit his brother's palace. That is why he did not take part in the war. He was not sorry, for he considered the acts of the external energy to be the supreme. So for the activities that he is not going to take part in the war, he is not sorry for that, because he considered this as the acts of external energy. But he did not expect that this is going to happen. He immediately left the place. It is said, a person, a sane person, intelligent person, doesn't stay where he is insulted. He just leaves the place. And also, he is never disturbed also. Prabhupada writes, he is a devotee. He is not disturbed because of the awkward position created by the external energy of the Lord, Maya. Maya creates such disturbances. Suddenly there will be a disturbance. It's like a forest fire. Prakriti kriyamanani gune karmani sarvashah. Ahankar mula atma karta hamiti manyate. Suddenly there will be some disturbance. He did not blame anyone. He did not even blame Duryodhana or Yudhishthir. He did not blame Karna. He did not blame anyone. He just left the place because he could understand, he could see the awkward position is the most horrifying position, where the words are like the pierce which is entering the Karna and which is piercing the heart. And he could understand this as the act of Maya. Okay. Arunavi?
Hare Krishna, text 16. Swayam dhanurdhari mayam भ्रातुर् पुरो मर्म सुताडितोऽपि सैत्यमत्युल्बणकर्णबाणै गर्तव्यथो यादुरुमानयानः. Translation: thus pierced by arrows through his ears and afflicted to the core of his heart, Vidura placed his bow on the door and quit his brother's palace. He was not sorry, for he considered the acts of the external energy to be supreme. Purport: Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. A pure devotee of the Lord is never perturbed by an awkward position created by the external energy of the Lord. In Bhagavad Gita 3.27, it is stated, Prakrite kriyamānāni gunair karmāni sarvashah ahankara vimūಢātma kartahamiti manyate. A conditioned soul is absorbed in material existence under the influence of different modes of energy. Absorbed in the false ego, he thinks that he is doing everything by himself. The external energy of the Lord, the material nature, is fully under the control of the Supreme Lord, and the conditioned soul is fully under the grip of the external energy. Therefore, the conditioned soul is fully under the control of the law of the Lord, but due to illusion only, he thinks himself independent of his activities. Duryodhana was acting under such influence of the external nature by which he would be vanquished at the ultimate end. He could not accept the sound advice of Vidura, but on the contrary, he insulted the great soul who was the well-wisher of his whole family. Vidura could understand this because he was a pure devotee of the Lord. In spite of being very strongly insulted by Duryodhana's words, Vidura could see that Duryodhana, under the influence of the Maya, the external energy, was making progress on the path towards his own ruination. He therefore considered the acts of the external energy to be supreme, yet he also saw how the internal energy of the Lord helped him in that particular situation. A devotee is always in a renounced temperament because the worldly attractions can never satisfy him. Vidura was never attracted by the royal palace of his brother. He was always ready to leave the palace and devote himself completely to the transcendental loving service of the Lord. Now he got the opportunity by the grace of Duryodhana, and instead of being sorry at the strong words of insult, he thanked him from within because it gave him the chance to live alone in a holy place and fully engaged in the devotional service of the Lord. The word gatavyat, gatavyatah, without being sorry, is significant here because Vidura was relieved from the tribulations which trouble every man entangled in material activities. He therefore thought that there was no need to defend his brother with this bow because his brother was meant for ruination. Thus he left the palace before Duryodhana could act. Maya, the supreme energy of the Lord, acted here both internally and externally. Hare Krishna.
So he was not sorry for the act, what he has done. That means he was not sorry for the insults and all those things. He was not feeling bad. In fact, he was thanking Lord, very good, I got an opportunity to go out. That is how. Anyhow, he was not interested in this materialistic activities. He was not interested in taking part in the war. So this became a very good reason for him. So that is how he left. Whether somebody insults, immediately you should say Shri Krishna Sharanam. This should be the, especially everybody must have experienced. To take up devotional service, there will be always opposition. Actually, it will be from the very near people. Either your parents will be there, or your husband will be there, or wife will be there. The nearest person only will oppose. At that time, what you should say, Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama. Same thing here also. If you see, Vidura is advising good, but he is insulted by Duryodhana. Sanirgata Kaurava Punyalabdho Gajhavayat Tirtha Padani Anvakramat Punya Chikirishav Yorvyam Adhishtito Yani Sahasramurti. So Saha, he Vidura, Nirgataha, after having quit Kaurava, the Kuru dynasty, Punya, piety, Labdaha, so relieved, Gaja Ahavyat from Hastinapur, Tirtha Padaha of the Supreme Lord, Padani, pilgrimages, Anvakramat took shelter, Punya, piety, Chikirshaya, desiring so, Urvyam of high grade, Adhishtitaha, situated, Yani, all those, Sahasrata, thousands, Murti forms. By his piety, Vidura achieved the advantages of the pious Kauravas. After leaving Hastinapur, by his piety, Vidura achieved the advantages of the pious Kauravas. After leaving Hastinapur, he took shelter of many places of pilgrimages, which are the Lord's lotus feet, with a desire to gain a high order of pious life. He traveled to holy places where thousands of transcendental forms of Lord are situated. So, because he has done a lot of piety, he came in a very wonderful family. He took birth in the wonderful family, Kaurav family. Kuru, King Kuru, he was a great devotee. So even being born in the Kuru dynasty, even Pandavas are Kurus only. But that is because of the narrow-mindedness of Dhritarashtra, he says Pandavas and Kauravas. But they're all coming from Kuru dynasties. So taking birth itself shows that how much pious activity he has done. And now adding up to that pious activity, because he's a very wonderful person, he is going to different places of pilgrimages. Even visiting pilgrimages is also a fortune. That is, it's not so easy to go to any pilgrimage, especially when we go along with all the devotees, do the chanting of the holy name, hear to the glories from the Tirtha Kshetra, who are all staying in Tirtha Kshetra, when they tell to us. So in this way, going to pilgrimages is also a fortune. So here his piety has been added up by he visiting thousands of places. That thousands of transcendental forms of Lord is there. The verse is put from Bhagavad Gita 7.28. Yesham Tantagatam Pavam Jalanam Punya Karmana Te Dvanda Moha Nirmukta Bhajanti Mam Dulavataha. Yesham Tantagatam Papam. Which Papam has been mentioned here? Yesham Tantagatam Papam. Which Papam has been mentioned? Where one is beyond good and we are beyond bad. One is beyond dualities. That Papam has been told. Because Jananam Punya Karmana. Somebody may be thinking, oh, this Papa and Punya, they both are materialistic only. But here, Te Dvandva Moha Nirmukta, the third line shows Te Dvandva Moha Nirmukta. That Papa also is out. That means he is beyond good and beyond bad. That is why Bhajante Mam Dulavataha. It's not easy to worship Krishna. It's not that you are increasing your pious activity by performing some materialistic pious works. And in this way, you are removing your sins. Any other is there. But this punya is which punya? Not that you are doing some materialistic punya activities. Te dvandva moha nirmukta, coming out of good and bad. That is how, even if he is insulted, he has not taken it up so much that immediately he has taken it as a mercy of Krishna. So somebody is insulting you, somebody is praising you, all these dualities, somebody comes out of all these dualities, then only he can take up to the bhajan of Krishna. Bhajate mam druda vrataha. That is why it is advised. Come out of the dualities. Don't be carried away by some praises somebody gets. Some don't be affected by the insult somebody does. Come out of the dualities. And then only we can do bhajan. Bhajan means service to Krishna. Okay, Vrindavan Lila Mataji, read.
निर्गतः कौरव पुण्यलब्धो गजाहव्या तीर्थपदः पदानि अन्वक्रमत् पुण्यचिकीर्षयोरवयाम् अधिष्ठितो यानि सहस्रमूर्तिः. By his piety, Vidur achieved the advantages of the pious Kauravas. After leaving Hastinapur, he took shelter of many places of pilgrimages, which are the Lord's lotus feet. With a desire to gain a high order of pious life, he traveled to holy places where thousands of transcendental forms of the Lord are situated. Vidur was undoubtedly a highly elevated and pious soul. Otherwise, he would not have taken his birth in the Kaurav family. To have high parentage, to possess wealth, to be highly learned, and to have great personal beauty are all due to past pious acts. But such pious positions are not sufficient for obtaining the grace of the Lord and being engaged in his transcendental loving service. Vidur considered himself less pious, and therefore he decided to travel to all the great places of pilgrimage in the world in order to achieve greater piety and advance nearer to the Lord. At that time, Lord Krishna was personally present in the world, and Vidur could have at once approached him directly, but he did not do so because he was not sufficiently freed from sin. One cannot be 100% devoted to the Lord unless and until he is completely free from all effects of sin. Vidur was conscious that by the association of the diplomatic Dhritarashtra and Duryodhan, he had lost his piety and was therefore not fit to associate at once with the Lord. In Bhagavad Gita 7.28, this is confirmed in the following verse. Yesham tva antagatam papam jananam punya karmanam te dvandva moha nirmukta bhajante mam dhrinavrata. Persons who are sinful asuras like Kams and Jarasandh cannot think of Lord Krishna as the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the Absolute Truth. Only those who are pure devotees, those who follow the regulative principles of religious life as prescribed in the scriptures, are able to engage themselves in Karma Yoga and then Jnana Yoga, and thereafter, by pure meditation, can understand pure consciousness. When God consciousness is developed, one can take advantage of the association of pure devotees. Syan Mahat Sevaya Vipraha Punya Tirtha Nishevana. One is able to associate with the Lord even during the existence of this life. Places of pilgrimages are meant for eradicating the sins of the pilgrims, and they are distributed all over the universe just to give facility to all concerned for attaining pure existence and God realization. One should not be satisfied, however, merely by visiting the places of pilgrimage and performing one's prescribed duty. He should be eager to meet the great souls who are already there, engaged in the service of the Lord. In each and every place of pilgrimage, the Lord is present in his various transcendental forms. These forms are called earth murtis, or forms of the Lord which can be easily appreciated by the common man. The Lord is transcendental to our mundane senses. He cannot be seen with our present eyes, nor can he be heard with our present ears. To the degree that we have entered into the service of the Lord, or to the proportion that our lives are freed from sins, we can perceive the Lord. But even though we are not free from sins, the Lord is kind enough to allow us the facility of seeing him in his archmurtis in the temple. The Lord is all powerful, and therefore he is able to accept our service by presentation of his archa form. No one therefore should foolishly think the archa in the temple to be an idol. Such an archamurti is not an idol, but the Lord himself. And to the proportion that one is free from sins, he is able to know the significance of the archamurti. The guidance of a pure devotee is therefore always required. In the land of Bharatvarsh, there are many hundreds and thousands of places of pilgrimage distributed all over the country. And by traditional practice, the common man visits such holy places during all seasons of the year. Some of the earth representations of the Lord situated in different places of pilgrimage are mentioned herewith. The Lord is present at Mathura, the birthplace of Lord Krishna, as Adikeshav. The Lord is present at Puri, Orissa, as Lord Jagannath, also known as Purushottam. He is present at Allahabad, Prayag as Bindu Madhav. At Mandar Hill, he is present as Madhusudan. In the Andaranya, he is known as Vasudev. Padmanabh and Janardhan. As Vishnu Kanchi, he is known as Vishnu. And at Mayapur, he is known as Hari. There are millions and billions of such arch forms of the Lord distributed all over the universe. All these archamurtis are summarized in the Chaitanya Charitamrita in the following words. Sarvatra prakashatanda bhakte sukhadite jagatera dharmanashi dharmasthapite. The Lord has so distributed himself all over the universe just to give pleasure to the devotees, to give the common man facility to eradicate his sins, and to establish religious principles in the world. Hare Krishna. Mataji.
सर्वत्र प्रकाश चंद्र भक्ते सुखदिते जगतेर अधर्मनाशी धर्म स्थापिता. The Lord has so distributed himself all over the universe just to give pleasure to the devotees, to give the common man facility to eradicate his sins and to establish religious principles in the world. That is why Lord's Archa Vigraha are spread everywhere. Chaitanya Charitamrita speaks, Sarvatra Prakasha Tandra, Bhakte Sukhadite. Why you have appeared everywhere? Bhakta Sukhadite, to give Sukha to the Bhaktas. Jakatera Adharmanashi, to remove the Adharma, to eradicate the sins. Dharma Sthapite, and to establish religious principles. So here it is given, the Lord is present at Mathura. The birthplace of Lord Krishna is Adi Keshava. Lord is present at Jagannath Puri as Jagannath. Purushottama. At Allahabad, Prayag. We are going now. Prayagraj. 20. Last Slanam. Prayagraj Slanam. We are taking Yatra. Practically 34 devotees have come. Going there. Bindu Madhav temple is there. At Prayagraj. Allahabad. At Mandara Hills is present as Madhusudana. In Alandaranya is Vasudeva, Manabha, Janardhan. Vishnu Kanchi is Vishnu. At Mayapur he is Hari. So in this way Lord has spread himself everywhere. So it was nice for Vidura to go and take darshan everywhere. So he thought it's a nice opportunity. Let me leave and go. Actually, for the devotees, disturbance in the family is the best opportunity to run to Krishna. If a person is not able to even go outside, his consciousness is in Krishna. There is a disturbance in the house, especially when there is a fight in the house. It's a nice opportunity to take more shelter of the holy name of Lord. Okay. Can anybody be so, what do you call, optimist? Huh? Optimist, pessimist, what is that? Broader minded, optimist. You have broader. Prabhupada is to chant this verse whenever there used to be disturbances. Um, uh, what is that verse? What is that verse? Anugrahami. Harishetadhanam shanei.
Tasyaham anugrahami tadish.
Yasyaham anugrahami harishetadhanam shanei. Tado adhanam tajanti asya sajanam dukkha dukkitam. The moment your all dhanam goes away, your sajana also leaves and goes. So that is how the devotees, they see the negative things as positive. The most wonderful thing. Okay. Next. Pureshu punyopavanadrakunje apankatoyeshu sarasu anantalingai samalanकृतेषु चचार तीर्थायतनेष्वनन्यः पुरेषु holy places like Ayodhya, Dwarka, Mathura, Punya, piety, Upavana, there is the air, Adri hill, Punjeshu in the orchards, Apanka without sin, Toyeshu in the water, Sarita river, Sarahusu, lakes, Anantalingaihi, the forms of the unlimited, Samalankrateshu being so decorated, Chachara executed, Tirtha, places of pilgrimage, Ayataneshu, Lord, Holy Land, Ananya alone or seeing Krishna alone. So he began to travel alone, thinking only of Krishna through the various holy places like Ayodhya, Dwarka, Mathura. He traveled where the air, hill, orchard, river, lake are all pure, sinless, and where the forms of the unlimited decorate the temple. The forms of unlimited decorate the temples. Not that the Lord is decorated. Lord decorates the temple. Bhushanam Bhushanangam. Thus he performed the pilgrim's progress. Okay. So in this way he traveled around. He went to different temples and he saw even the air, hill, everything is sinless. Because everyone is absorbed in that unlimited person. And the form of Lord is decorating the whole place, especially the temple. Okay, Binduri, this is the last verse for today. Lead.
हरे कृष्ण पुरेषु पुण्योपवनादिकुञ्जेषु अपङ्कतो येषु सरित्सहस्रसु अनन्तलिङ्गैः समलङ्कृतेषु चचार तीर्थायतनेष्वनन्यः. Translation: He began to travel alone, thinking only of Krishna through various holy places like Ayodhya, Dwarka, and Mathura. He traveled where the air, hill, orchard, river, and lake are all pure and sinless, and where the forms of the unlimited decorate the temples. Thus he performed the pilgrim's progress. Purport: The archa forms of the Lord may be considered idols by the atheists, but that does not matter for persons like Vidura or his many other servants. The forms of the Lord are mentioned here as Anantalinga. Such forms of the Lord have unlimited potency, the same as that of the Lord Himself. There is no difference between the potencies of the archa and those of the personal forms of the Lord. The example of the post box and the post office may be applied here. The little post boxes distributed all over the city may have the same potency as the postal system in general. The duty of the post office is to carry letters from one place to another. If one puts letters in the post boxes authorized by the General Post Office, the function of carrying letters is performed without a doubt. Similarly, the Archamurti can also deliver the same unlimited potency of the Lord as when he is personally present. Vidura therefore could see nothing but Krishna in the different archa forms, and ultimately he was able to realize Krishna alone and nothing else. Hare Krishna.
So he traveled alone, and this way he could realize Krishna alone and nothing else. Okay, that means who is coming along with us? It's only Lord. One is always with Lord. There is other, all are just to assist. If somebody is a devotee, is assisting you in devotional service. Ultimately, every soul is with Lord only. Or Lord is there with every soul. There is nobody beyond it. Okay, Vinda, Nila Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Mataji. Mataji, here we saw reference to the slavery system, Mataji. How do we understand that? And how does it not violate the rules that we have of related to promiscuity?
What slavery system? Which slavery system is there?
Like
Which
here,
one?
Vidur
Example of the
Dasiputra.
post box. Where?
Dasiputri is called, no, Mataji. And then in the Purport Prabhupada writes that when king used to get married, he used to bring many attendants also. And he used to have intimate relationships also with them. So how do we understand that, Mataji?
That is the duty of the king to give protection to the women. The Kshatriyas are allowed to marry more than one wife, and they are allowed to keep many ladies so that they are protected. Instead of they going and suffering somewhere else, they are protected by the king. That's not a slavery system. Slavery system, in fact, is good because the master protects the slaves. That was taken in a very wrong way and introduced in a wrong, or you can say it was projected in a wrong way by the Britishers. Or in those days, the masters were protecting the slaves. Slaves means one who has completely given himself to the master. They are more than servants actually. They are given up their life to the master. So Dasi is, yes, the the women are also given protection by the kings. It sounds very, there's a, what is this? They are just used as a enjoying object. Somebody may think like that. But if you see, that is the negative part. But if you see the positive part, they are given good maintenance by the king. Or just imagine what would have been their life. They would have been suffering. So the king takes the responsibility, marrying more than 300, 400 queens and keeping many, many mistresses also. So in this way, the king, who is a representative of law, projects himself as an enjoyer. There may be many disturbances also in that. After all, everything is material only, then nothing is spiritual in this.
Like
There
in
is nothing
Mahabharata
spiritual.
itself, sorry, Mataji.
Mm.
Like in Mahabharata itself, we see so many references wherein it is being the system is being exploited. For instance, even when the Pandavas lose their kingdom and they are made slaves by Duryodhan, the first thing that he does is like stripping them of all their dignity. So even with Draupadi, he misbehaves. That's one. Then later on, also when Jayadratha tries to misbehave with Draupadi, and later on when they are in Agyatwas, again she is being mistreated. So like that, there are so many instances. Then why to have that system in place?
That is not a slavery system, no? That is cheating. They are not slaves. The cheating between the brothers, no? Cheating among the family members, insulting family members. India, that is not slavery system. Slavery means there will be a servant, there will be a master. They may be treated as servant, that is another thing. But they are not servants. They are cousins.
Hmm.
One cousin may treat another cousin as a servant, uh, but in reality they are not servant, and the relationship is not servant and the master.
So when they are cousins, then itself it's so bad. Then how would it be in reality?
It's so bad because they were having enviousness towards each other. That doesn't apply that if they are bad, their relationship is bad. Duryodhana was a very good ruler, you know that. Duryodhana was very good with his people,
Other subjects,
his
yes.
citizens. Yes. So he may be bad because of his enviousness. Bad and good, again, is a relative term. If you are envious, you are bad to somebody. If you are neutral, you are not bad. Duryodhana had nothing to do with the citizens. He was very neutral to them. In fact, he was ruling very nicely. He was a very good king. But he was envious to his own brothers. The nearest person is the object of enviousness for anybody. The nearest person will be object of enviousness. If you are in the temple, the nearest devotee will be the object of your enviousness. Where all these things should go away, it will be more in the temple. Your own god brother or god sister will make very wonderful temple. You become very envious. So this is the
Mataji,
nature.
then
This is
how
the
does it
nature.
not violate the principle of promiscuity? Like we have these 4 vows that we take, that one should have relationship only with the spouse. Then how do we understand this?
That is why now it is illicit only. Na? It was illicit only. Touching the hairs of Draupadi. It is illicit. That is why their sins increased so much. He became offense personified. He became offense personified because of all this dirty nature. Hmm. Okay.
Hmm. Yes, Mataji. Thank you.
Stop here. Next class is there. Panchakalpada
Thank you.